So the YCS is about to take place in a couple of weeks, and you're wondering what the top 5 best decks are gonna be for that event. You want to be as prepared as possible. I have been playing tons of Yu-Gi-Oh! I mean, like a bunch of hours that I've been playtesting with my friends. I went to a regional in Lubbock, Texas, and I've been reviewing games online, playing high rated on Dueling Books, so I have a pretty good grasp of the meta and what I think are the top 5 best decks. And I've also been looking at a lot of results, a lot of deck profiles online, so I have narrowed it down to the top 5 best decks for the upcoming YCS. And I'm also going to be doing a couple of honorable mentions, so if your deck does not make the top 5, it may be in the honorable mentions. So let's begin. For the number 5 spot, I have Flounders, that's right. The reason why I have Flounders as the top 5 is because they can take advantage of some of the most broken cards in the format. I mean, they can main deck Shifter, they can main deck Dark Ruler No More. No other deck in the format can play Dark Ruler No More because they don't want to auto lose to stuff like Scythe. So the fact that they can run Dark Ruler No More, they can play Shifter, they can play Pot of Prosperity, is absolutely insane. And also they still have access to the Wind Barrier statue. So in the last format, only Luna Light Tri Brigade was able to set up the Wind Barrier statue, but now Flounders is the new deck in town that can set up the Wind Barrier statue that's able to lock the opponents from being able to special summon monsters, but only wind monsters. So Flounders is a great threat that puts a lot of the top decks in check. So if you're not prepared to face the Flounders deck, then you are gonna be getting tore apart. So that's why I have Flounders as my number 5. And now for my number 4, I have Sorcer. Sorcer was the undisputed best deck of the last ban list, and the only thing they lost was Pot of Desires and Protos, but it's still a threat. It's still a threat, and I think, in my opinion, it's the best deck at going second. So even if they lose the die roll, they're still gonna do a great job of breaking boards with stuff like Bear on the Floor or Backshot. I mean, that deck can break almost any board as long as they don't get scythe locked. So Sorcer is a great threat that has a lot of different builds that it can run. They're able to play Talki Fibrax and be able to go into the Aurora Dawn and 001, and I think that's the best version of the deck at the moment. So you better watch out for the Sorcer strategy. Maybe you may want to side deck stuff like Token Collector. So that's why I have Sorcer as the number 4 deck. And then for number 3, I have Cyber's Eldritch. I mean, this deck is insane. It's even able to play under Scythe, because if they get Scythe locked, then they are able to play with their Eldritch engine. So yeah, their main strategy is able to break a board, and then they go into Dagda, they set the Scythe, they make Destroy Phoenix Enforcer, and then they try to win on turn 3 or turn 4. So but when they get to go first, they set up Destroy Phoenix Enforcer, and they set up the Dagda with Scythe set. So it's one of those decks that's able to set up Scythe the easiest. They run Brave, they run the Souls package, so they can get a whole bunch of draws. So they have a lot of consistency. So this deck is scary. They usually like to run 60 cards with a lot of hand traps and a lot of 1-card starters like Thoughts Keeper or the Firewall Dragon Guardian. So if you're not prepared for this deck, then it's gonna catch you by surprise. And they're able to play even after they get nibbed. They usually do that by baiting out nib, and then they set up a board with that. They have like a Link Spider. So yeah, this deck is absolutely insane. When I went to the regionals, it was at the top tables. A lot of Cyber Eldritch at the top table. So if you're not prepared to face this deck, then it's gonna catch you by surprise. And that's why I have Cyber Eldritch as the number 3 spot. So for number 2, we have Based. That's right. If you don't know what Based means, it means Brave Artifact, Scythe, Brave Artifacts, Soul, Enforcers, and Dragons. So they're able to add a lot of engines in one single deck. They usually like to run 60 cards so that they don't draw into a lot of their bricks. So, and they run a bunch of bricks, but that's why they almost have to run 60 cards. The regional that I went to in Lubbock, the first place was actually a base deck, So, yeah, this deck is pretty insane. So, if you're not ready to face Halki Fibrax Turbo, which is basically the name of this, the main strategy of this deck is Halki Fibrax Turbo, and they're able to set up multiple negates with a simple Halki Fibrax resolving. So I feel like this is one of those decks that's gonna put Halki Fibrax in the ban list, perhaps. So if you're not ready to face Based, then it's gonna catch you by surprise also. So yeah, that's why I have Based as the number 2 spot. And now for the number 1 spot. But before we get to the number 1 spot, I want to say a couple of honorable mentions. And if you haven't already, please hit the like button, hit that subscribe button. It helps out this channel a lot. I'm going to be uploading more consistently, so please hit the like and subscribe button. But yeah, the honorable mentions, I have Phantom Knights. The first place Las Vegas regional winner went to Phantom Knights. And he actually cut the scythe because he didn't want to rely solely on the scythe. But the end board is still scary. They can set up multiple Fog Blades. They can set up Destroy Phoenix Enforcer, Appaloosa. When going second, they can go into stuff like Zeus. So Phantom Knights is still there. A lot of people are cutting Lancia from their side deck. So this benefits Phantom Knights a lot because they really hate going up against Lancia. But a lot of people realize that Lancia doesn't hurt some of the top decks right now, so they're cutting it. So Phantom Knights is thriving in that. So Phantom Knights as an honorable mention. We have Dragon Link. Dragon Link is able to run 15 hand traps in the main deck and still be able to run 40 cards. So they have a lot of hand traps in the main deck, and then they can side into even 9 more hand traps. So this deck is insane. It's able to OTK so easily. They're one of the best decks that can take advantage of the the Link 2 monsters, so they're able to steal Destroy Phoenix Enforcers or Verte Anaconda. So Dragon Link will never die, you guys know this. I'm a Dragon Link player, but unfortunately the end board that it sets up right now is not that great, and that's why I couldn't put it on the number 5, which hurts my heart. But I'm still gonna put it in honorable mentions because I know that it can beat pretty much any deck. So, and then for the last honorable mentions, I have Drytron with the Megalith. Drytron is actually a pretty scary deck. A lot of people, nobody's main deck in Droll, and I will say probably 30% of the people are side decking Droll. So Droll is not seen as much as he was in the past. So Drytron just thrives in that. They don't get hurt by Lancia, and they can still play even under Scythe because they can rely on their ritual monsters, their main deck ritual monsters. So Drytron is a force to be reckoned with, especially because they don't get hurt by Token Collector, Lancia. They can play even after they get nibbed. I mean, and they can even play. They can search stuff like Scythe. They can search Lancia. So yeah, Drytron is still a threat. I mean, they keep getting hit in the ban list, but they keep on just coming back. They're like zombies. I mean, Drytron is a scary deck, and when they get to go second, they can go into Zeus, and they have the option to either play Dragoon or Destroy Phoenix Enforcer, depending on what they need. So yeah, Drytron is a force to be reckoned with. Don't take them lightly. So that will be my last honorable mentions, Drytron. So now the moment that we've all been waiting for, Jara, what do you think is gonna be the best deck for the upcoming YCS? And it is Prankits. The new build of Prankits is absolutely insane. They're cutting down on the number of Prankits that they're running. They're cutting polys from their deck. They're running only one Pandemonium. They're making it an engine, so it's no longer a Prankits deck. It's more of a Prankit engine inside the deck of a 60 or 50 card deck, and they run stuff like Destroy Phoenix Enforcer. They run the Brave stuff, so they're able to run even hand traps. So, and I've seen a lot of people running Super Poly on the side deck, so they're able to dodge getting side locked. So, I mean, Prankits is a force to be reckoned with. It is, I think, the most consistent deck because every single Prankits is a 1-card starter. And not just that, but if they don't draw any of their prank kits, then they can rely on their Brave stuff, or they can rely on their Destroy Phoenix and Sorcer stuff. So, yeah, I think the meta right now is who can run the best engines, and I think the best engine right now is the prank kits engine, tied with the Brave engine. And since Brave prank kits is a deck, then I think that is the best deck right now. Brave, prank kits, Destroy Phoenix Enforcer. I think that deck is gonna be the best deck of the upcoming YCS.